first question to look at is, was this strike in fact successful? Did it disable, did it dismantle, did it destroy the Iranian nuclear facility? And the answer is quite likely yes, but it's impossible for us to say simply based upon visual confirmation. You know, in the movies, when a nuclear facility is destroyed, let's say in a James Bond movie, kaboom, the whole mountain is blown up, the mountain flies into the air. It's basically Hollywood effects. But in this case, the mountain doesn't fly into pieces. The accurate bombs make deep craters or holes, and the explosion occurs underneath or inside the mountain. So that's what the Trump people say happened. There was significant damage to these nuclear facilities, and yet, if you look at just video of these nuclear facilities, you can't see the full extent of that damage. So as a result, some people say, well, these facilities were really not damaged very much at all, or the claim that the Iranians somehow spirited out all the nuclear materials. They were ready for this. You know, dumb Trump was telegraphing that he was thinking about it, so any sane person would have moved it out. No, this did not happen. The Iranians did not relocate their nuclear materials. Why? Because A, they've been under observation, and if had they tried to do that, that would have been observed. The observations have been occurring by international authorities, but also by the United States. And the second thing is that this stuff is just not all that easy to move. We're talking about highly secretive materials. We're talking about a lot of stuff. And this stuff cannot just be easily relocated. Oh, well, you know what, let's just put it all into a suitcase and take it away. No, it doesn't really work like that. And like I say, I don't think that the Iranians expected this kind of quick, sudden, sort of lightning strike, if you will, that Trump delivered to them. Now, was this the right thing for Trump to do? I think on the balance, I would have to say absolutely yes. I enthusiastically think it was the right thing to do, even though there are a lot of concerns about it that are expressed by people on the MAGA right that I actually agree with. And so let's go through some of those because they really deserve a proper hearing. So the first one is, we have bigger priorities over here. Didn't Trump run on fixing the economy, lowering prices, lowering taxes, bringing the debt under control, getting America going again, manufacturing jobs, deportations, reducing crime? It's certainly true that this was the centerpiece of Trump's program. And I agree that if it were the case that foreign policy were now somehow a way of avoiding those things, and the deportations stop, and the Trump people stop fighting to make end runs around these crazy judges, and if Trump doesn't push his beautiful bill, and if we don't get the tax cuts being made permanent, this would be very bad. But no president can avoid foreign policy. If you try to look the other way, foreign policy will thrust itself upon you. You have to deal with the problems in the world. And for people who say, well, but I didn't vote for that, the truth of it is we don't vote for foreign policy resolutions in general for the simple reason that you can't predict what's going to come. You don't know what the circumstances are. And the whole point of representative democracy is that we elect other people and we have them make those decisions, particularly foreign policy decisions, on our behalf. They have better access to information. And what we're really doing when we elect a president is we're saying, I trust your judgment. And in fact, we're saying, I trust your judgment even over my own. Because otherwise, why don't we just have a system where, let's just say we're thinking about striking Iran's nuclear facilities. Let's just send out a national email to the American people or to the Trump voters and say, what did you really vote for? Click box A if you want us to strike. Click box B if you want us not to. This is not how we do things around here. This is not our constitutional system. This is not the meaning of representative democracy. So to people who say, I didn't vote for this, I'm like, I understand. You voted instead for Trump. and you voted to give him the power to make these kinds of decisions. We are just days away from what has been dubbed the Rio Reset, what may be the greatest threat to the US dollar's global dominance in over 80 years. On July 6th, the BRICS nations, Russia, China, India, Iran, many more, are expected to unveil their plans to circumvent the US dollar, possibly cratering its value. They've already been laying the groundwork as their central banks have been methodically divesting from the US dollar and US bonds in favor of gold. Now, how can you protect your savings, your IRA, your 401k from the potential fallout from this meeting? Well, you can diversify with gold from Birch Gold Group. Historically, gold can be a safe haven in times of high uncertainty, which is, well, right about now. Get a free information kit on tax-sheltered gold IRAs by texting the word Dinesh, my name, to 989898. July 6 marks a major meeting among nations that control 1/3 of the world's GDP. So arm yourself like Debbie and I have. Get information to diversify your retirement savings. How do you do that? Text Dinesh to the number 989898. Claim your free information kit from Birch Gold.